Okay, so we'll just wait for this to connect fully. And I just want to check that we are connecting over. Okay, and I just go back here. Good to go. Good morning, everybody. Okay, so I just need to click a few things here before we start fully. So good morning, everybody, and welcome to our therapist talk with Edwina Nash, the beautiful Edwina Nash from Divine. I'll get Edwina to introduce herself in a moment as well. So, sorry, because it's just flicking up here, and I need to make sure that I have it on the right one. There we go. Okay. So we are going to talk all things about bioenergy with Edwina this morning. Edwina is a graduate of our Bioenergy Academy and Bioenergy Academy of Dublin. And Edwina is going to tell us all about herself, her background, how she got into bioenergy and the other therapies that she practices as well, and about her business, how she set her business up, how she gets on working with her clients, the successes. She's had amazing successes with her clients as well. So we're going to get to hear all about this. I really love these interviews and these chats with our graduates, and just getting the story behind where somebody has got to with their success, with how they're getting on. And when Edwina logged in there, it was like, your background is so beautiful, it's so soft, so inviting, so lovely. You just be like, I'll run over to your treatment room and I'll just have a little session. So my name is Helen O'Flynn and I'm the Managing Director with the Bioenergy Academy of Dublin as well. And we run these therapist talk series with our bioenergy therapist graduates from our school to get a bit of insight into what real life is like behind the scenes of training in bioenergy and bringing that practice to your community, to your clients, within your own business as well, within the energy of your own business as well. So welcome. And guys, if you have any questions, just pop them into the comments. I'm going to keep an eye on the comments coming through, and if you have any questions that you want to pop on for Edwina, you can just let us know, and Edwina or myself can answer them for you as well. So Edwina, thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thanks, Helen, for having me. I'm excited.
It's great to be here together to share this. I love our chats. We've many chats over the weeks and months that we've known each other. So, and I always love our chats together. So Edwina, can you just maybe to start off to tell us a little bit about your background and what led you to bioenergy? How did you end up with this on your path?
So thank you. So I'm Edwina, obviously. So I'm the owner of Divine Awakening Holistic Therapies here in County Limerick. And before I go into that, I'll talk a little bit about my background. So I would have started out in healthcare and the medical side of the world, and would have started out many years ago when I was at school, even still at school working weekends as a healthcare assistant and in a local nursing home. When I finished college, finished school, I went on to college to do a course in that side of things, in health and community, something like that. I forget the name of the course now. Then I went on to work in various healthcare facilities, looking after people with intellectual disabilities, people that were elderly, and lots of different areas. I worked in the community for a while, and then I had my son, my boy, my blue-eyed boy, when we were young, when I was young. And when he started school, I went back to college and did nursing. Qualified as a nurse, and it was four very difficult years for personal reasons, because the different losses I had in the family, but as well as that, that world was difficult. So the training and all of that side of things is difficult, and we all know that. But so I think I was never finding my footing within that world either, within nursing, never finding where I fit in, where things were flowy, where I was really helping people. It was never falling into place. So I kept trying in that world and ended up in management. So I was a clinical nurse manager 2 years after qualifying as a nurse. I was a clinical nurse manager over a really big catchment area, a sole clinical lead, and I burned out twice within my whole nursing career, I burnt out twice, and so after the second time, I decided I'm ending my career in nursing, which was a massive decision. I hadn't a clue what I was going to do next. We had bought the house. At that point, I had met my partner, Damien. We'd bought a house. We'd had a little girl. It was a scary time. But I knew I couldn't continue the way I was going because it wasn't worthwhile to me, to my family, to our health and all of that. So made the decision. And I suppose linking in how I ended up, going down the route of holistic therapies, all along all those years, I would have always went to an alternative or holistic therapies myself if I was unwell, if my kids weren't well. Obviously, if there was an infection and all that, we needed the doctor, that was fine. But any mental health stuff, any anxiety, worries, emotional stuff, we'd always go to alternative therapists. And I suppose when I ended the career in nursing, it felt like a no-brainer to go that route. I suppose for me, I was always one for helping others. Even as a child, I would go in the neighborhood we lived in. I would go to the pensioners' houses and run errands for them. It just always filled my heart to be helping others. And I wanted to stay in that, in something where I was still helping other people, but in a more fulfilling way, in a way that wasn't detrimental to me and my health, and in an environment that was really helpful to the person, to the person I was serving or whatever. So yeah, at the time, as I said, but before that came, I was kind of stuck. I didn't know what was happening next. So at the time, I invested in a life coach. At the time, I didn't know what life coaching was, never heard of it, but someone mentioned life coach and I knew I needed something like that right now. It was in the title. And very soon after that, I was seeing myself doing alternative holistic therapies work, doing a form of healing. And within a couple of days of getting that clarity, it was actually that coach that sent me an email to my inbox, and it was the Bioenergy Academy of Dublin. It was a diploma that was coming up. And I was very much a believer in divine interventions and all of this. So I honestly, at the time, didn't have a clue what bioenergy was. But this was on my lap for a reason, and I just knew it, and I went with it. And I am that kind of a person as well, where I don't go whole pile into the detail of a thing, and I just believe in, in divine interventions. So rang yourself, Helen. The decision was made when it was in my inbox. I'm studying this, a world that I've always craved, always loved, was always happy when I was in the energy world, I suppose, without even at the time not knowing much about it, only being really interested in that area. So rang yourself, and within minutes I was signed up and ready to go. And that's where the amazing journey happened. I think lots of things started to happen, I suppose, from a personal level. A lot of healing started to happen for me, and a lot of realizations for me in my own life to date, and how I was very, very much living my life like I was supposed to. Okay, so with conditioning, with what other people expected me to be, all of that. And I was really, I suppose, asleep in a way to all of that, and very much led by other influences. And through my healing training with the Bioenergy Academy of Dublin as a bioenergy therapist, a healing started to happen for me as well. So I was moving forward while healing, and it's like, the only way to describe it is like waking up after being asleep for a long time. Hence why I called my business Divine Awakening Holistic Therapies. But it was an amazing journey. So I suppose outside of that, you know, learning all, and again, I suppose bioenergy is, there is the anatomy and physiology part of it. And of course, that is what would be of interest to me as well, given my background. And that brought together with the energy work was just amazing. And seeing the, you know, I created a social media page very quick, because I felt when my plan was always to start my own business with it, given I had just entered my career in nursing. So I started the social media page in it, and I did have people ready to come in the door as case studies. And just seeing the results, even from the very start of the training, you know, module 1, module 2, when you're just, you know, kind of tapping into the surface, the benefits that it was having for clients was amazing. Like, and you straight away you fell into, this is what I should be doing. This is what I always wanted to be doing. And, you know, just holding space for clients. I remember in nursing, and you'd be sitting at the side of a bed doing an assessment with a client, and you could not listen to any issues that they might have on an emotional level because you didn't have time. And, you know, you were under-resourced, you were incredibly under incredible pressure. And to be able to hold that space for a client and give them that time, and help them in such a profound way is amazing. And to see clients grow in front of you week by week and their lives transition week by week is absolutely amazing. So that's
one
yeah.
point there, Edwina, that's just come through is as well, like we know from our work that you know, about when you're saying there you can only, you know, you can't sit and look at the emotional things of people, you don't have time to support that side of it. And in our work we know that about 80% roughly of chronic issues going on for people is coming from emotional stress, emotional trauma, emotional shock. It's the emotional side of things that throws the system out of balance. And that's, you know, the thing that you can't do when we know that it's not the reason for everything, but it's a massive chunk of why our systems get thrown out of balance, you know, and things that we hold in our systems are thrown out of balance as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you see that come up for clients all of the time. And I suppose we don't always remember either each and every emotional impact we've ever had, but our body does, and our body is holding it somewhere. And what's amazing is it can come up as, you know, insomnia, as a pain in your shoulder. There is no rule for how it comes up in the body. And, you know, sometimes if you explain to the client what it's in relation to when you're in a bioenergy session, they may not even remember. Sometimes they do, but the body and the energy remembers. And it's amazing to be able to go into that detail and relieve that from a client. And you are, you know, if a client is lucky enough to be coming at the early stages where it is just a pain in the shoulder or a couple of sleepless nights, you clearing that from their system early days could be potentially preventing something more serious down the line, you know, and just giving them quality of life. It's amazing. Yeah, it really is. So yeah, it's a profound therapy, and I'm so grateful that I'm trained in it and I'm been able to offer it to clients. And you know, I don't just work here with clients locally. I work with clients all over the world. I have, because we do remote work as well. I've worked with clients in Florida. Currently I have 3 clients in Scotland. I have clients in France. I have clients in Australia. And all of them have an amazing results from bioenergy. And it's transformational work. It's, you know, the work that I've kind of maybe led into as well a bit is it's very transformational. You know, it's kind of life-changing stuff that happens for people. And I have never met those people in person. And so it's amazing.
It is amazing. And I think, you know, there's a few points you've made there. Like one is, you know, you just went with your gut, you know, you listen to your intuition, you listen to your guidance, and your intuition is so strong, and everybody's intuition gets stronger and stronger as you do this work. It's a natural part of the work that comes through as well. But Edwina, you graduated when? Because, you know, all these things that you're talking about sounds like you're in this for years and years and years and years. You graduated when?
It's 23 now. Was it 20? Oh, was it 2020 or 21?
Yeah. 21, it was within
21.
COVID, you started 20 and 21. So
Yeah.
it's like, this is the deepness, these are the depths that you can go to with your work, with your clients, to get these type of releases this quickly. And I suppose this is why we push everything into this course, to encourage students to, I suppose, get as much out of us as they can when you're with us, and obviously there's always support there after the program as well. We all stay connected, but it's like, get as much out of this as you can, because you will get amazing results with this. And you said yourself, even from the very beginning, we teach everyone how to work remotely from the very beginning as well. From the very first day, I remember everyone's working remotely, and it's like, how am I going to do this? What am I doing? Bioenergy, but and that afternoon you're doing a remote work bioenergy session that very first afternoon. And when you start to really, I'm so encouraging of all our students to start working with people straight away.
Absolutely.
Practical part, and you get results. And as you said yourself, you build up your client base as you're doing the program as well. They start getting to know you, and it's it's word of mouth. Word spreads fast about the benefits people are receiving as well. And you went deep with your work fast. And I remember in the very beginning having even a phone call with you to say, you're like, I don't know if this is for me. And I was like, nope, stick with it. I promise you, you will, this is, you will love this. You will get amazing benefits from this, and you'll see the benefit. You don't even have to get them for yourself. You can see it for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
So deep with your work, and it's been so beautiful to see it, Moving on to that part a little bit. So you've set up your own successful business. Your business is doing amazing since, when you've had your business as soon as you graduated, which is very easy for people to do, because we have a structure set up for people to be able to do that as well. Can you talk about how you decided that you wanted to actually, work with this, and how you went about setting up your business, that side of it as well?
Yeah, I suppose the first thing to mention is the fear that does come up, that the nervousness, the self-doubt, the will this ever work? Will people ever come to me? Am I really good enough? All of this comes up at the beginning, and it's not even the beginning. It quietens, but every time a client comes near you, say, oh, I hope I'll be able to help this person. It's so normal. So I suppose the thing there is, it's about feeling the fear, acknowledging the doubt, but going forward anyway, and I suppose for me, at the time, I trusted in that. The fear was there, and I trusted in my intuition. I trusted that this was the path for me, because it was on my path. And I renovated the garage here. So we renovated the garage while I was training, turned that into a therapy room while I was training. I invested everything I had into the business, and turned that into a really fabulous space. And I suppose for me, it was starting with social media. I created the social media page. I just saw the very first live that I did on social media the other day, and I actually sent it to a few people that I'm supporting as well at the minute to start up little holistic therapist businesses. But so out of my comfort zone, but still just doing it and connecting with people, connecting with clients, potential clients, and all of that, letting them know, I suppose, in a way. Sometimes if you come up as well vulnerable like that, you're connecting with somebody else, somebody else feels what you're feeling, etc. So that's how I had built a kind of a client, what would you call it? Clients were ready to come the minute I had qualified. And I started to put it out there as well on social media that I needed case studies. And how many did we need, Helen? Was it 12 or?
You did 24 sessions in total.
Was that for bioenergy?
That was your bioenergy, yeah.
Okay. So, but we needed 12, wasn't it, or something?
You had to work with, you worked with 6 people 4 times.
Yes. Okay. That's right. Yes. So, I put it out there, and so clients were coming as case studies early on, so they couldn't wait for me to qualify, so they could get the full benefits of bioenergy. And I suppose that's how I was able to hit the ground running when I qualified. I think the biggest way for me personally with business has been word of mouth. It's the most from seeing from the clients that I have, it's predominantly word of mouth, rather than social media. But it's still really good to have a social media platform because you've so much other connections there as well, and so much, and you still do get clients from social media as well. So yeah, I suppose that's how it started. It's incredibly successful, and I am so grateful. But I suppose without being, what's the way to put it? I'm not that. It's not that I'm shocked or surprised by it, because my whole heart goes into it. Anyone that comes, they get, undivided quality time. I really want, my heart is in it to help the other person. So I give so much to my clients and to my business, obviously with boundaries, of course. We're not overdoing it, but I do go in wholeheartedly, and for that my business, shows. So, and like, I'm fully booked for the month of April since about 2 weeks into April, and right now as it stands, I don't have another appointment until June. So I'm fully booked all of May. So, and there is appointments gone into the calendar for June. So that'll just tell you how, successful it has been and still is. And it's just amazing. But the most amazing thing about it is, as I said, is watching clients transform. Clients coming in and, a shift happening in their lives. From the first time I'll see a client to the second to the third, they're almost, you wouldn't recognize the person that came in the door first. So it's profound. It really, really is profound. It's amazing.
And I think with clients as well, in the way we work, the way we teach and the way we encourage everyone to work is very much about empowerment. So it's like, we are not healing you. We are bringing a healing modality to you, where we have structures and processes in place to support you to release anything that's stuck, stagnant, that type of thing. And it's really about, I know you do it as well. We're really big advocates of giving our clients homework, and it's self-care homework. It's all about self-love, it's all about self-care, but it's small little practices to start off with, that they usually stay at small practices, and then you can lengthen those small practices if you want to make them into longer or larger type of practices. But it's things that can be easy for somebody when they are starting out on maybe their healing journey, or they need to deep dive into a particular thing that has just hit their system for some reason, where they can have that consistency there with their health and their well-being. And I suppose that's a beautiful message to give to people as well. I am not your healer. I am there to facilitate your own self-healing. We all have our own innate healing knowledge. Every single one of us has that within us, and it gets blocked from coming forward. So what is blocking it from coming forward? And that's what we do, I suppose with the work is to help it release it as well. And you're so right. We're heart-led, we're soul-centered, we're heart-centered, soul-led entrepreneurs. That's really, really what we are, and the space that we're coming from as well. And the fears, the doubts, all of that type of thing is so normal. Every time we're about to take a step forward or level up, anything that's not in alignment to that comes up to the surface as like, don't want to do this, or can't do this, or what's going on, or judgment, or all these non-acceptance, all these different things. And I did a live earlier on when I talk about triggers, and they're wonderful things to come up, because they're just triggers that we need to release. And with these practices, you learn how to release them as well. So your marketing presence, you talked a bit about social media there. Your marketing presence is amazing. So where do you get your inspiration from with regard to your marketing presence? Because this will help other people to visualize how they can step into this for themselves as well.
Yeah, so I suppose at the beginning, it was all a learning. I've never done any courses or training in social media or marketing or anything like that. I was learning as I was going along. And I suppose I get inspiration from, there's times when you get inspiration from other pages. Sometimes though, however, that can be overwhelming. It all depends on how you approach it, I suppose. But you do see other pages, maybe how they'll show up. But the biggest thing that I've learned throughout with the marketing is just connecting with yourself. Connect with you and what it is that you want to bring to your clients. Sometimes as well, connecting with the client on social media, we'll say, and deciphering what it is they need or they want from you. So that's a big thing, is connecting with the client. The other thing is, I suppose I find for holistic therapists, and I was saying this to you before we start, Helen, is I find that following the algorithms and following, what everyone else is doing can be kind of, it can impact us. It impacts everybody. But I think when you're in the energy world, we're a little bit more sensitive. And this is just my personal experience with it. And there are times when I get completely overwhelmed with social media and I have to take a step back from it altogether. And then I come back, reframe and say, Edwina, you get to do this the way you do it, rather than, following algorithms and how we're supposed to do it and sharing it at a certain time when everybody's online watching and all of that. It just gets too overwhelming. But as with regards the marketing, it is very much staying in tune with you and who you are and what it is that you want to bring. I think it's authenticity. As well as that is building, kind of communities and being involved in other networks and communities and letting other people know and connecting that way. Collaborations is really good as well, to bring, to complement each other's businesses is amazing as well. And I do find, even if there's any local events on here as well, I will make sure that I'm at a local event. Anyone in the locality that has another business, I'll ask them, if they'll keep flyers there, put up posters and different things. So yeah, and again, it's always heart space. I just still feel it's about staying authentic, staying connected to you and what it is you want to bring. And also, if in any way through your marketing you're supporting somebody else, it's really good to do that as well.
Yeah, and I think it's staying true to yourself and everything that you do, really, isn't it? Like you've said that,
Yeah.
Authenticity as well. And if we stay true to ourselves, we're staying true to our own hearts. And if we're staying true to our own hearts, our compass is pointed in the right direction.
Yes, yeah.
In alignment for us and what's true for us on this path in this lifetime as well, really, isn't it?
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
I think the more authentic you are, the more truthfully are to your own heart, the brighter the light shines going out as well.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
And you do it beautifully.
Thank you.
Okay, so any clients that you've worked with that you'd like to talk about where you've had success as a client? And I know this list is many, and Edwina, highlights this on her socials as well. And we have our own bioenergy graduate group. We have a connection group, community group for our graduates as well, where things are shared in there by our graduates and our students. And they have successes that they're working with people as well. So it's really interesting to hear about the successes that you've had. So anything that you'd like to share around that area?
Yeah, so I suppose, as you said, Helen, there are so many clients that I've seen now at this stage. But I suppose one client that came to me, this lady was probably, I think she was in her early 60s, and she hadn't had a full night's sleep since her 20s. So she came with insomnia, and there was other imbalances starting to go off in her body as well. Not alone that, but in her life. So obviously, when you're not getting a full night's sleep, you can imagine all the other bits that will come up emotionally, frustration, all these different things. And this lady, when she booked in again, initially she was very, will I say hesitant? Like, will this help? There's a lot of questions, not sure whether it would help or not. And after having a discussion with her, she decided that she would book in. When she came for the very first session, it was that night. The following day, she texted me to say that she'd had a full night's sleep. It was the first night's sleep that she'd had she can't remember. So in her 20s was the last time she had a full night's sleep. And I had also given her the homework you were talking about earlier on, Helen. It's very rare a client leaves without something that I'll give to them to raise their vibration, do energy clear grounding work, different bits. And she had started her day the following day with her gratitudes and some grounding. But before the end, so we usually see clients for 4 sessions, depending on, how much is there for release and all of that, but we usually say around 4. But this lady, by the time, so she also had some urinary issues going on. She was going for scans and all these different things, and there was nothing coming up medically as to why these issues are happening. But by the 4th session, this lady had been sleeping the whole time. She'd never again had a sleepless night from the first session to the last. The urinary issues had resolved. Her life had completely transitioned. So she was coming, as I said, if you can imagine not getting sleep for that many years, full night sleep, on sleeping tablets and all of these different things, and still not getting a full night's sleep, you can imagine the impact that it was having. So by her 4th session, this lady her whole life had completely transformed, to her relationships with her kids, with work, with how she felt when she got up in the morning, just even how she showed up. She was glowing, feeling vibrant, looking vibrant. So it just changed her whole life. So yeah, that's one I could talk about a lot of experiences, but that one stands out the most at the minute. So yeah, it's amazing. And as you were saying as well, like 80 to 90% of those whole sessions were emotional releases, so some trapped emotions that were held.
It's huge, and it can be emotions that we take on in utero when our mothers are pregnant with us. It can be emotions, from birth shock, birth trauma. It can be emotions from childhood that we don't necessarily remember consciously, but they're held there in the subconscious, and then all the other things that can go in between. And it can be small little stresses in life. It can be big stresses that we've had. But where we lock those in, and if we were taught practices as young children to identify and release, we wouldn't have the build up as much. And sometimes it can be a timing thing. It can be, there's some lesson in it for us in life, that at a certain time that we have learned something supportive for us in life by experiencing the release at that particular time as well. So it can be a timing thing. But I know, Edwina, we've chatted about different things that you've worked on over time as well, and I know the successes are huge, and you do share them, which is lovely to see as well. And it's amazing to see the benefits that people can get and can believe in themselves, so they have their own more power in this, more control and more power over their own health and well-being than maybe they realized before they came to you. Their treatment as well. Which is so beautiful. So we could sit and talk here. We could book 5 hours and just keep talking about client successes as well. So I suppose, where does your passion? You talked earlier on about doing jobs for pensioners, like in your local area and that sort of thing. But where does the passion come from and the drive come from to stay in this work and to want to continue with this work?
I think it's just, for me, it's very innate. It's like I don't ever remember not wanting to help another person. And I suppose as well, for myself, I've had fairly traumatic experiences in my life, and I value support so much, and value the energy work is incredible. So I think I have a deep understanding and a deep awareness of what it is to be supported, and to have therapists out there that you can, that have such an amazing, impact on your life. And I think I've always, I think it's because I connect with that so much myself, that I feel I'm very well equipped to hold that space as well for other people. That's where it stems from, I suppose. The goal, I think, for me is, to empower as many women, men and women, as I can, because we can get lost in I work predominantly with trauma, with people that have suffered with trauma. So childhood trauma, relationship breakdowns, whatever it is, there's lots of different traumas. but where someone's life is really impacted by that. And I understand that as well. So you can get very, caught up in that world, and that world can, the trauma can keep us held back, I suppose. And I think for me, the goal is to be a light, a really shining, beaming light for people that would like to, break through the trauma and come out the other side and open up their lives as much as possible, and to transition into what it is that they would potentially like to have or be or become in their life. That's the goal. I currently have a program, so I have bioenergy built into the program. So I work with clients over 16 weeks where we're doing deep dive and healing work and empowering them in their own lives and their own wellness, trying to get, help clients to overcome the limits of the trauma, of the pain, of the hurt, because sometimes we can go into that and stay in there and allow that to hold us back. And we're not aware of that always. Sometimes that fog is so heavy, we just can't see past it. So I'm like that hand that will come in and help. So it's to empower as many people as I can to transform out of that and into a brighter, happier world.
Like I'll put Edwina's Divine Awakening Holistic Therapies. I'll put the link for Edwina's business because it's lovely to follow Edwina on her socials as well. So I'll put the links for those into the comments when we finish today as well. So just with business challenges, sometimes challenges can come up when we're trying to set up these businesses and, keep them running, and all these different types of things that go into running a business, because there are a lot of different parts as well. So any challenges that you'd like to talk about that you've had to navigate through that might support somebody else and having an understanding of how to work through that?
I think the biggest one that comes to my mind, Helen, is last summer. One of the things is everything went really quiet all of a sudden. And at the time, I didn't have a clue. I thought something I was doing or something in the energy and all of these things. But it wasn't until after speaking to yourself and other holistic therapists at the time, summer quietens down. So I think one thing that I've learned from that last year is this year's planning ahead. So making sure I had different events lined up for the summer, different workshops lined up for the summer, so that I'm not depending solely on one-to-one sessions. One-to-one sessions, as I learned, clients are on holidays, the sun is shining, the vibes are higher and all of that, and business can quieten down. So I have a retreat coming up now in May. I have a course starting in June. So there's other options there. So as a business owner, I suppose it's about thinking of, that's one thing I learned on my journey. Of course, there's lots of other challenges. It's time consuming. You're not finished work, I suppose, when you have one-to-one sessions. So it's managing your time as well as best as you can. Yeah. And that takes time as well to fall into place, finding the right work hours, work-life balance hours and all of that. But yeah, the biggest one is being aware of those quiet times of the year and creating something else,
Yeah. And then I suppose the other side of it is you have some people that would totally suit to have quiet time during the summer, and they just have their own time, and then go back into work time at a different time. So I suppose with this, we're working for ourselves. We get to set our own boundaries, set our own hours, set our own days. You can work remotely, you can work in person, you can travel to another country, you can keep going with your clients from that other country. So, there's so much flexibility in this as well. But like you have brought in other offerings with your bioenergy and with other training that you've done as well, which is amazing to see. And that's why, definitely it's great to follow Edwina's page so that you can keep up with all those different events. Some are in person, some are online. So it's, it's really good to have that awareness there as to what you're doing on different days, Edwina, and different weeks as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so has training bioenergy, you've covered this a little bit, has it changed anything for you personally, or anything that you'd like to share where it's changed something for you personally to do with your own well-being or your own self-care?
A full 360, Helen. I think before I trained as a bioenergy therapist, no, I didn't exist in anything to do with, I was here for other people. That's the only reason I was here. Self-care, just thinking back now, even saying that word, 3 years ago, what are you talking about? I haven't time for that. What is that? So it's completely different now, Helen. It's a 360. I have to come first. If I don't come first, I'm no good to anybody. And I've learned that the hard way. I've learned that through burnouts in my career, burnouts as a nurse and being a parent and all of that. So I think bioenergy, that whole throughout the training, the importance of that comes in, the relevance of that comes in huge. And, a self-love comes in as well. And I know these are kind of throw around words at the minute, self-love and self-care. But when I found self-love and self-acceptance, it was massive. It was a game changer. In absolutely every area of my life. And I suppose we could do a whole interview on that, actually. I really do think we could do a whole session on that and the importance of it and how it changes not just you, but your whole family, and you don't even know what you did for it to change your whole family, but it has, and it's just in the energy, it's positive. And it's like, I suppose, like a positive charge in the energy. I don't know. Sometimes I wonder that was a great response. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. That's brilliant. So it's hard to explain it without going into detail, but all I can say is a full 360. Amazing. And with my, it's a journey. God, don't get me wrong. It's not that I'm amazing and all of that, but I definitely strive. Yeah. To do that first, so yeah, it's a different world completely.
Yeah, and I think with self-love, self-care, self-acceptance is a huge part as well, as you mentioned. But it's like, as our energy shifts, the energy of others around us shift, or how we respond to others shifts. And if energy doesn't shift around us, it's like our energy can't sort of stay in that either, so we end up in this space that everything just feels lighter, and like life is still happening around us, with different things, but it's we're able to take a step back and respond to things rather than it being more reactive or feeling that we're in the washing machine of stuff going on. We can step out and go, okay, what do I want to choose to have in my experience here? And I suppose, with clients as well, when you say, around the self-acceptance, self-love, self-care, that's a very strong message that we, are very encouraging of with clients when we all work with them as well, and we get this love for our clients, don't we really?
Absolutely. Yeah.
We resonate with them, they resonate with us, and you feel like it's a mutual friendship. There's a lot of trust that builds up there as well. And I think that's why word of mouth spreads as well. Well, number one is somebody hears that Mary down the road to the pain in the shoulder, pain's gone now. My pain in my shoulder, I want my pain gone too. That type of thing. Don't even know what I'm going for. I've been in that situation before. Don't even know what I'm going for, but I just want to, I want this resolved, released, that type of thing. We've all been there when we enjoy this self-healing type of journey, and there's the warmth and the energy of it, and it's, we talk very much about alignment within our course as well. That what is in alignment for me, because you could have 5 people living in a row of terrace houses all practicing bioenergy, and the same people will not resonate with each of those 5 therapists. So we work with the people who are for us really as well, don't we? Which is amazing.
Yeah.
So it feels there's more ease in it that way as well.
Yeah.
So Edwina, my last question is, what is next for you in your business? So what's the dream? What's the vision? Where are you hoping to go next with everything?
Oh, Helen, I have so many dreams. I have so many dreams. So I suppose the big, I would love to grow and expand. I suppose I'd like to be in several places. I suppose what I'm starting to see for myself is opening a a clinic, or I don't like to call it a clinic, a therapy room, you know, in a community, you know. So I have my therapy room here in at my home in Kilcorna, but I'd love to go into a community, you know, where a village or a town, and have it so that there are other therapists working in there as well, and other little bits and bobs available for clients. But the biggest thing for me as well is the program that I'm working on as well with clients, is trying to help as many people as I possibly can in that, and maybe end up doing more group work within it as well, because with one-to-one, there's only so much time you can give one person. So it's the biggest impact as I possibly can in helping as many people as possible. So yeah, there's big dreams.
You work in other therapies as well. So do you want to say what else you work in? Or
so I suppose when I was training as a bioenergy therapist, intuition grew really, really strong for me. And I think it's something that was always there, but I just didn't know. But this was, it came really strong. So when I'd be working on clients, I would be aware of other people that have passed in the room. And sometimes I would even be aware of angels in the room. And initially, I wasn't sure what that was, but once trusting it and all that. So I trained then a little bit at that time while I was training as a bioenergy therapist in kind of in reading cards, even though I don't really read cards in my sessions. It's more mediumship that comes in. So I do a lot of mediumship readings. I do them here, and I do them in Angel Times. It's a beautiful holistic shop in Limerick. I work out of there one day a month. And so a lot of mediumship. But then I also trained with yourself, Helen, with Bioenergy Academy Dublin in Dawson Corrective Sounds. Again, wow is all I can say. Really profound therapy, and having really amazing stories from that as well. And I also just recently trained as I actually got 2 certs last week. I got my Dawson Corrective Sound cert, which I was so happy to see.
Amazing. Yeah.
Thank you. And I also got trained last week in Rahani Celestial Healing. And that's, oh, wow, that's really wow as well. It's gorgeous. So I do aroma touch. I trained as an aroma touch. I'm doing the essential oils. I love the essential oils. They're for here in the home. But predominantly, I am bioenergy and Dawson Corrective Sounds. And I bring that a lot into the 16-week program. And I suppose the 16-week program is supporting that person in the transition. So I would have had clients come to me for one-to-one bioenergy, and I'd give them the homework out the door, come back in a month's time or 2 weeks. Oh, I never did it. Oh, I forgot. I didn't get a chance. But again, what was happening is they're not putting themselves first. They're me 3 years ago. I don't exist here. I live for other people. So I developed the program around supporting and accountability and all through that. So we do the healing in there, and we do one-to-one sessions. So that's what I predominantly do, but I also do the readings would be next. And Rahani has just started, and yeah. So I need another 2 Edwinas at the moment.
Amazing. What you've done, like in the space of time that you've done. And I remember even in the training you saying, oh, I'm going to renovate now and I'll set up my healing room. And then all of a sudden it was like, it was done.
Here it is.
I know. Go for it. When you're doing something, you just go for it. You know, you're an inspiration to other people. And what you're sharing, the gifts that you're sharing, when you're saying there about going out into the community, I was thinking there, you know, is it going full circle for you that you're going back out into the community again, you know, but with the type of work that you want to do into the community, you know, which is amazing. You know, it's just beautiful bringing gifts from your heart out to others, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. It's amazing.
It is amazing. It is amazing. You're amazing. So, Edwina, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Helen.
To share this time with you guys. I'm going to share Edwina's links for Divine Awakening Holistic Therapies as well. You can check in on Edwina's programs or sessions. the different locations that she works in. And as Rena said as well, she works remotely as well. So there's lots of accessibility to the services that Edwina offers. So just really beautiful to share this time and this space with you, and hear your background, your story, and all the successes that you've had as well. It's amazing. I'm just so delighted for you.
Thank you so much, Helen. And you're a massive person on that journey for me. So you're not just you don't just train us in bioenergy, you're there for an awful lot more. Your support is there all of the time. Any transitions, anything that's happening for the students, you're amazing. So you still here, you still support us. We're well qualified, we have lovely groups, and you're always there for anything that comes up. So massive thank you to you. I'm so grateful for you.
You're so welcome.
Yeah, so thank you so much. You're amazing.
Thanks, Edwina. I just appreciate that we have this type of community. It's everybody is supportive of each other, and even it's I'm thinking now as well. We've had there could be challenges going on for health for people in our lives or that type of thing. I was in the hospital with our little boy there recently, and you can just pop into like our group and healing. It's a wonderful group where we all send healing to each other. It's amazing to have that support, that we all support each other in that way as well. So it's a community, and I feel very privileged that I get to share this work and to get to support all of you guys as well. It's amazing. Life is amazing.
It is. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're so true.
Okay. Guys, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, Edwina, for being here. Check in on Divine Awakening Holistic Therapies. Guys, thanks for being here. If there's any questions afterwards that you want to pop into the chat, just pop it into the comments. Myself and Edwina can come back to you as well. And wishing you all a wonderful day ahead. And chat to you soon. And Edwina, I'll chat to you soon as well. All right.
Take care, Helen. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone. Big hugs. Have a great day ahead.
Bye.
Brilliant.